Mr. Freaks.
Sir, we still have one more option.
Get me Turf Talk and Keep the Sneak.
On this record, again, I just mainly wanted to not pull any punches. I mean, I listened to, you know, what I guess some people consider gangster rap most of the time, far more than I listened to, I think, the more underground-y type, traditional, keep it real type New York style of hip-hop that I think most people associate me with. So, to that extent, Keep the Sneak, Turf Talk, Nump, Federation, E40, those are all Bay Area hyphy rappers because that's what I've largely been listening to for the last few years. And then David Banner, who's on the record, is one of my favorites from the crunk scene that also influenced me strongly in the last 5 years or so. More than anything, it was just about reflecting honestly my musical taste. At the same time, there's people like Fonte Coleman, Q-Tip, Latif, who are, I think, more of the kind of underground hip-hop ilk, but even I think if you were to ask them, they wouldn't necessarily pigeonhole themselves that way either. It's just a strange reality that it seems to be hard for a lot of artists to be able to stretch and spread their wings as wide as they really want to. And I think that's one of the things that this album is kind of railing against, is being put into any kind of box. Hyphy is a unique permutation of hip-hop and rap music, but it's that's centralized in the Bay Area of Northern California. But it's a little bit more than that as well. It's kind of a street lifestyle culture. There's a lot of different aspects to it. It's almost like its own, in the same way that Southern rap has a culture based around it, that it involves everything from, you know, the sort of drug side of things to the car side of things to the even the tempo of the music itself and the way people move to the music and the type of clubs that play the music. In the Bay Area, there's a unique style of dance that goes along with it. There's all sorts of slang associated with it. And the music itself is fueled primarily lyrically by the legacy of Mac Dre, who was a really prolific rapper in the Bay Area before he was murdered a couple years ago. And then sonically by mainly a producer named Rick Rock, who was the kind of godfather of what we now think of as the hyphy sound. A couple things happened over the last few years that forced me to confront mortality, as I've been fortunate enough to not have to do prior to that. And there was a car accident I was in, and there was the birth of my twin girls. I mean, they came out fine and everything, so without going into too much detail, I'll just say that it forced me, I think, to mature and really take a stand and be an advocate in that respect for the girls to be able to be born healthy and alive, and then following that up with the car accident, it just kind of made me realize that I need to have a little more immediacy with my overall broad game plan. I mean, I've always considered myself a lifer as far as a recording artist. I mean, I plan to be doing this in 20 years. But I think I had never really thought about the possibility of me not being able to see my vision through if fate doesn't allow that to happen. So rather than just kind of, I think to some extent I've been slowly trying to not rush